Dollar spot is a very common disease of turf grasses that we see every year virtually, and especially this time of year when temperatures get quite a bit warmer than normal. This disease is actually caused by a fungus that attacks most all of our turf grass species that grow here in Arkansas. However, we primarily see it on Bermuda and zoysia grasses. Now, this disease is actually caused by a fungus that will attack the above ground parts of the plant. Now, typical symptoms that we see for the homeowner are going to be small, dead patches, usually 2 or 3 inches in diameter, that occur out in the lawn during these hot, dry periods of time during the summertime. And we usually don't see this disease, in other words, it's not very obvious until several of these patches actually grow together. And then we see large areas of the lawn that appear to be browning out. And one of the diagnostic characteristics for this disease is that homeowners can actually go out in their lawn first thing in the morning and examine these dead areas and actually see a white fuzz that resembles cobwebs growing on those dead areas. And that's very diagnostic for dollar spot. Closer examination of those individual plants of your turf shows a very characteristic banding of light and darker bands of color. And this is, again, very diagnostic for dollar spot. This disease is oftentimes associated with turf grasses that are poorly maintained. In other words, turf grasses that may be running out of fertilizer or appropriate water in the soil. So this is one of the reasons that we see it during the summertime. So it's one of these diseases that we call a stress-related disease. So one of the best ways to manage this disease is to make sure that your turf grass is being irrigated properly, number one, and it's being fertilized correctly. And fertilizer or fertilization practices are going to need to be based on a recent soil test. So that's the best way to make sure that your turf is getting the appropriate amount of fertility. As far as irrigation practices go, it's always a good idea to irrigate your yard early in the morning, primarily between the hours of 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. And this reduces the chances of other turf diseases getting started and allows that grass to dry out at least by mid to late morning. So it's always a good idea to do this. So this particular disease can be managed by good fertility, good soil moisture. It's also a good idea to maintain the appropriate cutting height of your individual grass. And we have fact sheets available on our website that will give you the appropriate cutting height, because if we tend to cut our grasses too short, this may make them susceptible to a lot of the infectious diseases. So it's real important. There are several chemicals that can be used to control this particular disease. Those that contain the active ingredients of propiconazole, myclobutanil, or tridimethon are effective for this particular disease. One of the options for a homeowner may include the fungicide called Fertilome Liquid Systemic Fungicide is labeled for this particular disease. Also, another homeowner product is called Immunox, and it's effective for dollar spot as well.
To learn more, contact your county extension agent and follow the links in this section.